Hi, this is Joe and Lulu from Portland. I want to thank you for watching the video. We're going to get to it in just a moment. I wanted to talk briefly about the purpose of the work that I'm doing right now, which is finding an aftermarket solution for the owners of early model year Leafs with significant battery degradation. There really is an option coming from the manufacturer. The OEM solution isn't really a viable solution. So it's upon us as a community to do what we can to keep these vehicles on the road. And it's more important than it might appear. These are not just simply cars are not able to maintain the value on. The Leaf is kind of a bellwether. There are so many of them. If a substantial number of them are allowed to reach minimum practical range, which I estimate to be about 70 miles on a charge, the Leaf has the potential to become a sort of early adopter scarecrow that would deter people from the next generation of technology that's going to come around in the next maybe decade or so. We need to in essence, work around this current situation and find a solution. I've had contact with 3 foreign manufacturers or distributors who potentially could deliver, in essence, an aftermarket module or even an OEM, some OEM modules. However, I'm still holding out for a domestic partner, and I'm really hoping that somebody can come forward and provide us with a turnkey solution, a turnkey product that would be able to install in the vehicles at independent service providers around the country. I've already identified several of them. Right now, I am getting ready for the battery show. I know there are possible partners there, and I'm looking forward to potentially meeting with some. The electrification effort is the most important, the most critical environmental undertaking being pursued today. There are no alternative efforts that would allow 114 million gas-burning vehicles to remain on the road and accomplish anything close to turning around our current situation. If you're a consumer and you're considering buying an electric vehicle, I'd urge you to pursue that. I'm more than happy to help you personally if I can, but certainly there are a lot of people out there. There are electric vehicle associations. The fact of the matter is, there are issues that people have when they drive these vehicles, but they're all outweighed by the benefits that they bring. That's not just to the community, that's not just to the planet, but to yourself and your wallet. And whatever I could personally do to help, my email is in this video. Please feel free to send me a message if there's something I can do to help you. If you have questions, if you're looking at a particular EV and you need some help assessing it, I'd be more than happy to help you with that. In the meantime, consider, if you're out there and you know the problem, as I know some people who watch this do, consider what you could do to assist, to help out. So, enjoy the video. Hopefully you'll reach out, or hopefully I'll have some good news for you when I get to Novi next week, or 2 weeks from now, I guess. And I hope you have a great day. Take care. So anyway, I'm Joe from Portland, and I recently started a series with Lulu, my 2019 Leaf SV Plus. We're going to do a series of informative videos about getting a Leaf or an EV, what to expect from that experience, what you're going to want to get out of it, what you need to do to prepare for it. And the first one we did is how to speak EV. The next one, this one, is an understanding of your daily driving needs. I can't tell you how often I have people who simply don't know how many miles they drive. The problem also is compounded by COVID. Now, it used to be very straightforward. 5 days a week, you worked, and you went into work, and you knew approximately how far it was back and forth. And on the weekends, it was a wild card. But now there's no day-to-day, week-on-week stability in terms of how much people are driving. Maybe you're going in this week once or twice, maybe you're not. What I recommend to determine your daily driving, your actual daily driving, is a couple things. First of all, you can just go back as far back as you can where you have a reliable number. You need that reliable number, meaning you need an odometer number and your current odometer number. You subtract them, you divide it by days, and that should tell you basically what you need per day. That should smooth out any periods where you were doing something different. Another option is to simply reset the trip odometer, say today, and go for 7 days and see how many miles you drive in that 7 days. Now, again, that's not perfect. It's not as reliable as it used to be, but it is a fairly reliable way to determine it. Another option is to use Google Maps. You may or may not know this, but Google Maps timeline may be keeping tabs on all your goings and comings. That didn't sound the way I wanted it to, but anyway, you should actually be able to go back and reconstruct very easily the amount of miles you've driven for a given period, for a given time. If you save that information, you may have opted out of that, in which case it won't work. But if you have not done so, if you use, for instance, I use Google Timelines often when I travel. I find it very useful, and you can always turn it off if you choose to for a given period of time. But you can use it as well to get a number. So once you have that number, you want that number to be no more than 60% your to-be-purchased EV's total battery capacity. And why is that? Well, it has to do with this thing called neutral charge, the sweet 60, we call it. The sweet 60 is between 20% and 80% of charge. And that's where you want to keep the car generally. Ideally, you're always going to want to keep the car as close to 50% as possible. Obviously, that's just an ideal. But imagine, if you will, you had a magic spreadsheet. Think of the things you could do. You could make it a weight loss spreadsheet, and lo and behold, lose as much weight as you wanted to as quickly as possible. You could make it a diabetic dietary spreadsheet, and lo and behold, no matter what you ate, your sugar would always stay low. You could make it a grade spreadsheet for your kids, and they always would get an A. But in this case, what you're going to do with your magic spreadsheet is you're going to chart every minute that your vehicle has existed, your vehicle's battery has been in service, starting from the moment it left the factory till now. And what you want to see is a perfect bell curve. You'd want to see most of the minutes, most of the time that vehicle's battery has existed to be close to 50%. And the further out you get, you'd want to see less and less time that the car spent. So that's why we talk about the sweet 60. You will inevitably at times have to charge beyond 80% because you need the range, and you'll have to discharge below it. That will happen. It's inevitable. But you don't want to bake it in. Let's say your daily driving is 100 miles and your vehicle has a 100-mile range. Or let's say 110-mile range, okay? basically, you're going to be in order to get your daily driving in overnight, you're going to have to charge it to 95% every night and charge it down to 5% every day. So you're leaving that 20 to 80% range every day. And that's why you don't want to buy a car that bakes in departure from that sweet 60. What you want instead is you want to be able to make sure that on your daily driving, you're not going to exceed that. So let's say you have a 30-mile daily drive. You wouldn't want a car that had anything less than a 50-mile range. So in other words, you would not have to charge past 80, and you wouldn't have to discharge below 20 in order to get around during the day. That's what you want. So once you have that number, you can start considering what size battery would be appropriate for you. Look, if you drive every day 60 miles, 70 miles, that's going to be a larger battery that you're going to need. But if it's 30, like the average American, you'd be talking about an 84-mile Leaf, a 70-mile Leaf would work for you. A 60-mile Leaf would work for you. When you get below that, it becomes a little bit more dicey. But basically, yeah, you could get by with the smallest size Leaf battery with degradation and still get to work every day and have no problems. And look, it's not that you can't do it. If you need to charge above 80 and use that much energy, do it. These are utility vehicles, or they're vehicles. They're for utility. They're to be used. They're not. I mean, they're not so fragile and they are not so precious that you can't do things that they're not intended to do. On occasion, for sure. Think about, I always liken it to brakes. You're not supposed to slam on the brakes, for sure. But if there's a bus barreling down on you, of course, you're going to slam on the brakes. It's going to wear them out quicker, but you got to do it. That's what they're there for. And then similarly, that's why the batteries have the additional range, the additional capacity. Also, you don't want a car that exceeds radically your ordinary daily driving, because that capacity in the battery, it still is there. You still have to carry it around, which means extra energy. It's more expensive. The more range, the more capacity a battery has, the more it costs. So you don't want to buy a vehicle or a Leaf or any other EV that's more expensive than you need, that's more vehicle than you need. So that's why you really want to try to keep that daily driving number somewhere near the 60% point on the battery that you buy. And once you do that, you're going to have a car that you can use to do extra things. You'll be able to use it even to take trips. You're just going to have to charge along the way. And you know what? That's no big deal. Any issues that you encounter, any difficulties that you encounter driving an EV are far outweighed by the benefits. And we'll talk some more about those, including the cost saving that you'll have. Take care and drive safe.